Honestly, I am hoping this is something that is true, but I don't think Atlus has confirmed anything yet. Will we see the Persona 3 remake announced or see any, gameplay footage or trailer for this game at this year's E3 2023 event? I'm not exactly sure because I don't think Atlus has been confirmed to appear at E3 2023, and I believe companies like Nintendo, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, they've been confirmed not to appear because normally they do their own things when it comes to, I guess, reveals and all that stuff. Nintendo has their direct, presentations, and Sony has like their state of play or whatever. And I do feel that E3 2023 is going to be more of a central for, I guess, third-party video game developers to showcase their video games if they don't have, I guess, tight connections with like certain entities like Sony or Microsoft or Nintendo or what have you. But honestly, I do hope that we get a P3 remake sometime in the future. I don't expect it to appear this year in 2023 if the rumors are true, because I believe the idea of a Persona 3 remake appearing in the future was actually a rumor that basically got started back in, I believe, back in January. Early January is when this rumor had started. I believe it was leaked by somebody. I can't remember who it was, but it was leaked by someone in terms of basically the game possibly being remade for a current generation game system. Now, I can see that being a thing for the PlayStation 5 or even the Xbox Series X, because if you're going to remake classics and stuff like that, you might as well keep it current gen, because you look at the last gen game systems, the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, those two game consoles came out back in the fourth quarter of 2013, so it's been almost a decade since those two consoles came out, and it's been about 16 years since Persona 3 was released back in the summer of 2006, which is something that I didn't even know about when I was younger, because I was still in high school at the time. And I do feel that Persona 3 was definitely one of those games that got overlooked during the 2000s decade, because even though RPGs were popular, they're not as big as they were now. I honestly feel like the I guess action RPGs are more popular than turn-based RPGs nowadays, because back in the 2000s, turn-based RPGs was still a thing. People look for, I guess, realism and I guess gameplay that's compelling, and that's more like believable, which is why I think action RPGs have become more popular. And if Atlus does remake Persona 3, I can definitely see them, I guess, using action role-playing, gameplay, because it makes more sense, and it's something that I don't think was done back in like any of the older Persona games. So you look at like all the like major Persona games that came out, it was mainly turn-based RPGs for the most part. I think Persona 5 was turn-based for the most part too, if I'm not mistaken. But at the same time, if Atlus decides to just keep the turn-based formula for, I guess, the remake of Persona 3, if they do decide to go through with it, I think that'd be cool. People just like to see enhanced graphics and better, I guess, gameplay and visuals and all that stuff. And I believe like Persona 3 had received a remake for the PSP a long time ago, and a lot of people like that. But at the same time, the PSP definitely got destroyed in terms of like sales and popularity in comparison to like the Nintendo DS and the Nintendo 3DS. When it comes down to handheld, game systems, Nintendo is like the king of that. They've been holding it down since like the 90s and all, but it is what it is. I do hope that the rumors of a Persona 3 remake is true, and if it is true, I mean, I don't see, I guess, a remake of Persona 3 coming out anytime this year. And if it does come out this year, that would be very exciting. But something that I talked about the other day was Persona 6, because like Persona 6, I believe the game was rumored to be in development, but apparently the game is pretty much like still in developmental hell, and I guess the release date has been it's been delayed based off of what I've been reading online. So I'm not exactly sure when Persona 6 is going to come out. Hopefully, it comes out sometime next year or at 2025 at the latest. But some people feel like it's too soon for Persona 6. I don't think it's too soon because Persona 5 came out back in 2016. And you look at the difference between Persona 3 and Persona 4 in terms of release date, people had to wait like roughly around 2 years for, I guess, the sequel of Persona 3 to be released. And honestly, I mean, I don't think Atlus thought that Persona 5 was going to be as popular as it became. And I could say the same thing for Persona 3 and Persona 4 because Persona 3 is really popular. And the thing is, it wasn't really too big in America, but it definitely appealed to a niche audience of gamers who were into RPGs and all that stuff. And, I believe there were a couple of animated films for Persona 3 that came out between 2013 and 2016, but a lot of people really don't know that because for the most part, by that time period, people were into like P4 Golden and all that other stuff. And I do feel that in terms of preference, people prefer, I guess, shooters and action adventure games, and I guess action RPG titles, which have become prevalent in terms of preference and popularity in the teens decade. But I do feel that a remake of Persona 3 would still be an attraction, probably to the casuals to some extent because it's an older game, and I think at this point a lot of gamers in Western countries like America are familiar with the series by now. And I'm just waiting to see when Atlus is going to confirm and I guess reveal a trailer for a potential Persona 3 remake and whether or not they're going to appear at E3 2023 this year.